Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Natan Verhovsky, founder of Allura Creative Agency, your host with the most for the Frequency of Abundance Group's daily talks. Today is Thoughtful Thursdays. Thoughtful Thursdays. We've got Triumphant Tuesdays. So we got good things going on every single day of the week. Today we were supposed to have a wonderful guest, Dr. Peggy, so we'll have her back another time. Technology is a fun thing, especially as you get closer to the holidays. There's so much electrical zing, zing, zing going on in the universe that sometimes, Zoom or Restream or whatever you're using won't let people in. It is what it is. On the plus side, I'll be able to share both her contact information and a wonderful opportunity for you to reach out to her. So in that scope, we'll have her back again, and I do have her topic of choice. So I'll give you guys a treat. Those of you came here, those of you that wanted to hear specifically about how to create more balance and how to thrive simply in your life. Dr. Peggy is the expert, so I will pay lip service to it. I'll cover a couple ideas and topics. Today will be a quick session. We're going to have some fun. We're going to learn some things. And then from there, I want to make sure that you have availability to that. So if you don't know where I am and who I'm coming from, my name is Natan Verhovsky. I've been an elite energy coach for about 30 years. I've started with Olympians, national sports teams, Circus du Soleil acrobats, had about 15,000 people come through my hands, wrote a couple best-selling books. And online, when the pandemic started, is where I really came in and started focusing on coaches, healers, therapists, experts, people that wanted to have that message broadcast to a larger audience, even some of the agency owners. And we get a chance to white label and co-brand and have so many different fun things together. So in that context, there's a wonderful free group called, you guessed it, the Frequency of Abundance group. You go to LinkedIn, type the Frequency of Abundance, click under groups, you'll find us. Come join us. It's incredible. It's free. You'll have access to this kind of content. We have a small private paid group. It's tens of dollars a month. It's not a big deal, but it'll give you opportunities to go networking, meet others, have group coaching sessions, really do a deeper dive into that incredible relationship that we work us on. It's kind of like the intersection between time and money. You can't get more time, but you can't get more money. And it's kind of like energy and money. Because if I don't give you any energy, you're not going to be able to make any money. Time's kind of irrelevant in that equation. So we focus on that intersection and focusing on the one lever that you can pull on. Now, if you want to join us in the Facebook group, in the LinkedIn group, sorry. So many groups, my goodness. There's the contact information. I won't make you try to schedule it and pop it off of here. Oh, I think we might be lucky enough. We might have Dr. Peggy. Hold on one sec. Let me see if I can pull her in. Yes, we have magic. Awesome sauce. My goodness.
Yes, hi. Great to
Thank
be
you
here.
so much. Hey, we've got Dr. Peggy, guys. And look at us. I'm wearing Christmas Kitty.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Thank you. And we're both in blue. So for the last little while, you've got questions popping up here and here. Join Dr. Peggy for a one-on-one. I'm going to put all our contact information in the chat as we have this discussion. We're here for a quick, wonderful time. So I figure we've got until about 50 after. In that time frame, what would you like to touch and address on? Talk to us, Dr. Peggy.
Well, I think it's really important right now to talk about balance and how that helps you to thrive. Right?
Ooh, I like it. Okay.
And the interesting thing is right now, especially, we're 1 week to the holidays and people have so many things that they want to get done that they feel that they have to. And it just creates so much stress. And some of it is things that we do because we're supposed to. Some of it is things we do because we think we're supposed to.
Yeah.
And some of it is things that we do because we want to. And, so I don't know. I'm going to ask you, Natan, what does balance mean to you?
Balance to me is always an inner-outer game. I'm looking at inner development. I'm looking at outer development. I'm looking at the balance between the two. So if I'm too deep into me and too deep into my head and too deep into thoughts of the future or, nostalgic thoughts of the past, I feel out of balance. I'm okay with that for a bit if it's for a purpose, like meditating or reflecting or some wisdom seeking, sure. But staying in that state is definitely not functional. And I'll notice if I'm out of balance, if I'm out of whack that way, because I'll stay too long in a place, stay too long in a way, stay too long in a state.
It's really good that you actually have defined what it is for you to what balance is, and so often we don't define it. But plus, then how do you know when you're out of that balance? What happens in your body? What happens? How are you how do you become aware of it?
Usually it's a physical sensation. So if I'm standing and thinking or doing a task or something like that, I can get into that for minutes, hours. But at one point when my knees start creaking and I go, oh, okay. So something physical will go, hey, you've been doing this for a minute. You might want to pause now. And I'm like, gotcha. So yeah, the physical will bring me back usually.
Okay. And it's not like, do you ever have like a negative part of it? Like you're doing something necessarily that you don't want to? What happens then? Like,
I try to avoid that.
yeah. But
Then I'm
how do
probably
you
more
know
aware
that
of it.
how do you know to avoid it? What happens in your body then?
So if it's something new that I wasn't previously exposed to, I'm sure it'll feel like the regular nag, like tightening, tension, unease, anxiety, the normal stuff, I figure.
And that's your clue that you have to look into what's happening, right?
Yes, always.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like, and the thing is something that yesterday you might have felt really good about doing. Today, you're like, this
All
no
of a
longer is
sudden, right?
something that I want to do,
Yeah.
right?
So you
And
have to be
because,
truthful, I guess, into yourself and know that it's okay that today is different than tomorrow.
yeah, in that balance and thriving and the things that give us joy, it's not
Mm,
static. I think sometimes we forget that.
yeah.
And
And
especially
I think
around the
that's
holidays,
mean.
right?
Yeah. And I think it's not fair. It's almost mean for you to constantly have this thing, this activity, this hobby, this passion, this whatever it is, to have the same impact every single time. You know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure you're putting on that thing instead of keeping
Yeah.
it onto yourself. Your reaction
Yeah.
to something is on you. What happens isn't really always in your hands, you know?
Yeah. And so, but then what the way around that, what have you done in the past? Like for me, I try to say, like, what's happening?
Okay.
What's happening here that is making me feel that tightness or that anxiety or whatever? What about this? What about me is having this reaction? Exactly what you just said. Because then it's the opposite of like thriving, right? And being in
Yes.
abundance, which is what
Yes.
this is all
Let me
about.
ask you, thriving in that sensation, because if you meditate, your meditative coach, I'm sure, will tell you that, hey, the second that you go, oh man, this is what it is. This is meditating, and you're out of it. Damn it. You're either in it or you're acknowledging that you're in it. But that act takes you out of it.
And that's okay, right?
Okay. So
It's a
how in
reaction
thriving does
to
that connect?
how does thriving, well, thriving is when you're in the meditation, what are you gaining out of that, right?
Because that's where I'm wondering, is thriving more of a sensation, kind of like happiness? It's not meant to be a perpetual 24/7 state. We're meant to get into happiness, right? So that we appreciate it. Is thriving like that, where you're not always feeling
Well,
thriving?
I mean, I think what thriving is being on purpose to your values, right?
I like that.
And
Yep, I like that.
um having the majority of your time being spent for me when I my ultimate goal of every single day is to be in a high state of vibration, to be feeling love and peace and joy
Yes,
for most of it.
yes. I love that. And
And
that's how we're connected. We're connected in the colors. Look at the colors on the background somehow. It's all very serendipitous, but it all worked out without any pre-thought or,
exactly,
isn't that nice?
exactly.
I
But
love that.
yeah, so for thriving, I love that you said it's not a constant state. But just like happiness is not a constant state,
Yeah,
it's accepting what is, right?
yeah,
When we accept
yeah,
what is, we're not judging that whether it's good or bad.
yeah,
That's where
yeah,
happiness comes from, right? And gratitude.
very much. Yeah, very much so.
And here's the thing with thriving that's the hardest for me. I don't know if this is hard for you, but I have a tendency to hold on to things way past their deadline. Holding
Okay.
on to the way
Fair.
I do things, holding on to what I'm going to do, holding on to a thought
Okay.
way longer. And so for me, it's like I hold on with a death grip, like, no, I'm not going to let it
Okay.
go. And but then when I let it go, it opens up more space, more opportunity. And that's where that, when I think about having space and opportunity to experience something new or to create something new, then that's thriving. I don't know. What do you
I
think?
like
I want
that.
your
Okay.
opinion.
I will tell you, as a guy who's done this for a minute, um, you should look at it the other way if you want to make yourself pat on the back happy instead of scolding yourself. So I would say the hallmark of any great leader is the ability to make up your mind very quickly and change it very slowly. Because if the opposite was true and you made up your mind very slowly but then changed it very quickly, what a waste. So you're someone who makes up your mind intuitively very quickly and will hold on to it because that's what leaders do.
Yes. Yes. And the other thing that leaders are doing, though, is even though they've made their decision, they're being very observant, aren't they? I mean, a
Mhm.
leader that they're listening, they're observing, they're using a lot of their intuition
Yes.
is what's happening here that's not being said, what's happening here, right?
It has to be subtle. It has to go underneath. It absolutely needs to, get under that surface for sure. Very much
And
so.
what happens to the leader? I agree with you. That's it kind of shifted where I was coming from, but um, when you're in leadership, you really are in a servant position, right?
Yeah.
Of serving what it is you're leading, who it is you're leading, so but and how does that show up?
Yeah. And
Like
where
you
you're, and how are you going to know whether you're going to maybe go forward confidently? That's great. But are you going forward on your best foot? If you're in it, like we talked about with meditating, and you're wearing that beautiful costume, you're going forward proclaiming proudly. Outside is a completely different, like subjective first person view. You know what I mean? Associative versus objective third person view, disassociative.
but why are they 100% separate? Can they coexist?
It's tricky to be coach and athlete at the same time. That's the balance that
But
you're
doesn't
speaking
an
of.
athlete coach themselves to some degree?
Name one
When they're
Olympic
in the
sport.
process of
Okay.
doing.
No, that's the silly part. When I've worked with Olympians and national sports teams and Cirque du Soleil people, no, you're in it or you're going to be breaking your neck and falling on your head. The ability to coach is that third person overview to see it and to notice, your ankle's bent. If you're running and you notice your ankle's bent, you're not running right. It's a really different
Okay,
way to be alert.
yeah, I'm thinking of it in a different way than you are. Yeah,
And that's what I
yeah,
love. These are the
yeah,
conversations that the wonderful audience that we get. You
right.
better ask some questions. This is what you guys get to see. Join us. This is the Frequency of Abundance group. Every day is a different talk. If you'd like to be featured, if you'd like to speak, if you'd like to put on events and meet incredible people and have more eyes on you and what you do, reach out to me. I'll put my contact in the chat. Reach out to Dr. Peggy. She is an abundance mentor. She is so much fun. Go over and have a one on one. What we're doing today is topical. We're having some fun. We're opening up the conversation about balance. We're opening up the conversation in terms of how to thrive simply in your life. And we only have a couple more minutes for today. But we will have Dr. Peggy come back because she almost missed the beginning of her own show, which is unbelievably fun. And we'll talk about it next time because these are the kind of dinner table conversation stories that you need to have. Because if you don't have one of these or two of these, you haven't been around long enough. You just haven't been doing it. So these are the fun times. If everybody here who's ever gone and needed to get on a Zoom meeting and it was already running a minute or two late, put your comment in the chat, send some love, give a high five, give a thumbs up. And how many times when you were already 2 minutes late did that the one time that Zoom chose to do its update. Of course.
Of
Of
course.
course.
Of
Of course.
course.
Of course. Proper. There we
Yeah.
go. So this is where we're coming from. And if you want to, you need to know that there's going to be things that'll knock you out of balance.
Yes.
You
Just like today, showing up
just like
late
today. Yes.
for
I'm so
whatever
glad you
reason
did.
that might be.
I'm so glad you did. How awesome.
I'm so glad I did as well.
Very cool. So, in the next couple minutes before we round out, let's connect a theme and know that again, I'm going to put these up here. I'll put the overlay in. So, you've got contact information for Dr. Peggy and for me. Ooh, and to join us on LinkedIn. Now, next year, Dr. Peggy's also got her own group coming out. So she's going to have a free group on LinkedIn, a small paid community, tens of dollars, again, no big deal, but access to the woman herself, access to past materials, access to deep and exclusive content that you can't get over on the free group. Kind of makes sense, I know. So stay tuned for that. We will be wrapping up this year in a fun way on the 22nd, that Sunday. That's going to be my last one for the year, only to come back on Wednesday the 1st. So take some time for yourself. All of these episodes I will be rebroadcasting during that week. I know, just because I'm taking a break doesn't mean that the world stops, and Allura definitely doesn't. So we're here to support, and you're going to have so much content to binge during the holidays. So in case you're out of balance with family and you still need to fuel to thrive, come into these wonderful conversations like with me and Dr. Peggy. Awesome sauce. So Dr. Peggy, talk to us.
Well, I just want to really say, especially now, give yourself some grace on everything that's happening, right?
Mm,
I mean, that's something that we forget. And the other thing we forget is how far we come.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we were talking about how you do the inner work and the outer work. And I think it's easy to forget that you're a greater person today than you were yesterday.
Isn't that nice? I
The
had
gift to
somebody the other
yourself.
day. You should, and you need to remind yourself, like, you woke up today. Not everybody did, you know. And so there's a big stuff. I had a guy. I asked him how you doing. He's like, "Oh, doing great, man. I'm up here smelling the flowers instead of the roots." And I thought that was great. I'm like, that's a neat way to put it. He's like, "Yeah, above ground." I'm like, "Okay,
Takes you a
okay."
moment to think about what he's
It
saying.
does, right? And you can see their wheels churning and stuff. So that's always fun and hilarious.
Right, right. Yeah. And it's just really great to be here with you and to say hello to everybody. And I'm just looking forward to what we can create together and
Oh,
go,
so much
you know,
fun.
forward. Yeah.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. This is the Frequency of Abundance Group. Every day is another wonderful thing. Now, normally today was a special one-off day where we had it a little late in the afternoon, but normally Monday to Fridays, and especially for next year, we'll be holding on to some strict scheduling as much as we can in this crazy world. Life's what happens while you're busy making other plans, but the plan is Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So we'll start your days off right during the week. And then on the weekend, I'll let everyone sleep in a little bit and we'll make sure that you're good to go for 1 in the afternoon Eastern.
That
Awesome.
sounds nice.
Dr. Peggy,
Thank
it was
you.
a
Thank you so
blessing.
much. It was great being here with you.
Thank you. We can't wait to have you back. Thanks,
Great
everyone.
to be
Talk
back.
soon.
Thank you. Bye.